This week on From Mill to Still, we slowed down a little bit. We had to do some figuring out of some big picture items like funding and archaeological surveys and site work and budgets, scheduling, structural repairs. There's a lot of planning that went into this week. We actually had a break in the weather, which was kind of nice, and because of that, we all moved inside and didn't care what the weather was. We did do some outside stuff, like work on the retaining wall has progressed. That's pretty cool. We'll go check that out. We're cutting in for lintels. They'll show up soon, and continuing insulating in the ceiling. So let's get into what's going on. So we've cut out this door to be wider, and we're gonna take old flooring from the first floor and build a really cool human door right here. And then in front of that really cool human door, if you'll come in here, I'll show you, we're gonna put this fire door back up. And not because we think it's cool and someone on HGTV told us to, but because it was always hanging here. This used to be the boiler room that we're standing in, and it's gonna be a private event space, a cozy, small 500 square foot conference area private event space. So having that there in the exposed brick will be really cool. The guys have finished insulating the ceiling, and we're gonna paint that black, and then that's done. So this room is coming to an end. Oh, and we put a new door here. So that door's in. So that's the conference room slash ancient boiler room progress. So I've got Arturo here, and I had to get a change order out of him this week. He had fixed this window really nice and plastered over it, and then we maybe smashed a bobcat into it, and then he had to rebuild the whole thing again for the second time. So just real quick, that happened this week. I don't know if you guys remember from last week, that creepy hole that Arturo had to fix that had all the underwear in it. We completed. Arturo pulled all the stuff up, all the underwear, and backfilled with cement and bricks and block so that this column will not crash down and break our building. So thank you, Arturo, for doing that.
Yay!
Hang on. Something I'm really excited about is Arnold and Arturo here are finally putting in our steel lintels for our electric roll-up door. That's gonna be mounted on the inside of the building like it's supposed to, and not the outside like our current facility. Yeah, two 12-inch tall I-beams. These guys have these giant chipping hammers pulling out 26-inch thick brick from this wall. So, pretty cool. Last week, there was no floor here, and Arturo can apparently do anything. He put this floor back, so that's really cool that all the rotten floor has been replaced with wood we salvaged from the first floor, and we actually put the tongue and groove back in to secure it all in place. So the floor is back everywhere, except you can go more forward here. I'll show you. There's still no floor right here because that's the beam that has to be removed. I think I talked about it last week, but we're gonna pull that beam out, and this wall has to be rebuilt, and everything has to be stuff done to it right there. It's gonna be more intense than camping, so stay tuned. So, steel's here for the lintels. While we were doing our update, the steel showed up, so we're gonna go snatch it off the truck. Fire hydrant here, and there was 3 brick walls around it to like keep cars from hitting it, and we needed bricks to fix walls, so we tore it down. So we did that this week. So we got 10 truckloads full of stone to backfill our retaining wall this morning. So that happened this week. That was kind of cool. So the biggest thing that's going on this week is we're building this retaining wall, and you can see it's going up to the roll-off up there, and we're gonna backfill all of this so that that hole right there we can drop forklift out, and we can put our equipment here out of the floodplain safely for our distillery. So that's really cool. They've already backfilled 6 feet of footing here with GeoGrid every whatever feet. It's crazy what they have to do to stabilize this trash dirt. So that's pretty cool. That's my favorite thing that's happening this week. So I'm gonna cut these guys a check and we're gonna go drink some cocktails somewhere. So we found these old light bulbs. These 6-foot fluorescent, dimply, crazy light bulbs. Anybody know anything about these? Maybe comment below and let me know what's going on with them. I'm gonna use them for decoration. So that pretty much wraps up this week's work out at the mill. It's been a slow week, a crazy week, an intense week. I cried a little bit. The last thing I had to go talk about was archaeological dig that we needed to get SBA funding. That kind of cut our funding in half. It was kind of a bummer. Found a workaround, and that's just don't do work where there's archaeological questions. So I'm actually right here by the spot where there was an old house right here. You know, in this row of houses, the fronts used to face the mill, and this was built sometime when the mill was built. They wanted to do ground penetrating radar, and then after that they had a month to analyze what they found from the radar, and then after that they had to decide what they were going to make us dig up. And all that was just subject to my budget, or not, so they didn't care about our budget, they just wanted it to be done. So in order to maintain the feasibility of this project, we had to literally eliminate the scope of work. So we cut down our parking by a lot, and hopefully we can get a variance on that somewhere, but that may have us TBD back on track for our funding to get this project moving full speed again. In the weeks to come, you'll start to see things like structural repairs, slightly more demo, do some more outside and inside work. We'll finish the retaining wall next week. Lots of stuff coming up. So make sure you subscribe, hit that like button if you want to see anything else that we're doing out here. Leave a comment, talk to us on the internet, and we'll respond. It's a pretty cool job. Cheers, don't be dumb, drink Carolina rum.